Namaste, Samaste. Very good afternoon to you all, here, there, everywhere. Let us, in togetherness, pray and bow to our beloved Gurudev, beloved Sri Guruji, all masters of the lineage, all masters of all religions, of all times and places. Let us bow to each other, remembering the soul within and soul without. Friends, everywhere, the clarion call, lockdown, 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 ekanta, ekanta, ekanta. The moment I think of and hear the word lockdown, I think of beloved Gurudev. How he was concentrating on his works, his words, his meditation, his service in a beautiful way, as if there is nobody to disturb him. He used to say, look upon yourself as a warrior, guard your fort, guard the 9 doors in this Dharma Khetra and Kurukshetra. In a beautiful way of explaining the things, one day he said, pray to the eyes, O Nayanam, become Sri Nayanam. Let me not see the world, let me see the God. Let me not find fault with everybody or anybody. Let me find the values, the virtues, the beautiful character that they are. O my ears, become Sri Karnam. Let me hear nothing other than the cosmic whisper, Anahata Dhvani. O my mouth, become Sri Mukham. Let me not take anything unnecessarily. Let me be conscious of Mitahara, Hitahara, and Juktahara. Let me also be very much careful about speaking words which will go like loving flowers, loving touch of the God. And I should be then a beautiful Sri Mandira, a beautiful body temple where the God can manifest and I will be God realized. Remembering him this way, let us think what is the topic today. Swadhyaya. Ordinarily, when you look to the particular term Swadhyaya, it speaks of the study of the scriptures. But Sri Guruji says, how can you study the scripture unless you do not have the knowledge of the number and the letters? Explaining the situation, he said, in India, in those days, ancestors of our human race talked of 3 knowledge: Jnana, Vijnana, and Pragyana, Paravidya and Aparavidya. All are to be studied in the direction of understanding the scripture. Again, Sri Guruji explained to us one day, reading the scripture, be it Gita, be it Bible, be it Quran, be it Vedanta, be it Upanishad, whatever may be, just with the help of a dictionary or a grammar book is not meaningful at all. Then what to do? It is the master. Under the superintendence of the master, if you read the Upanishad, read the scripture, real understanding can be there. But in addition to that, Sri Guruji told us, read something and meditate on that. Read something, understand what the master says, then meditate on that, so the real meaning will come up, manifest there, and you will be charmed, overwhelmed. That is the study of the scriptures. But a study of the scripture is not only limited to Vedas, Vedanta, or Upanishads, or other things, other creations of beautiful masters like Adi Shankara and others. But it is something else. Study of the self, study of the Atma, study of the soul. Who am I? Sri Gurudev one day said us in Karara Ashram annual day discourses, always ask, who are you? Who am I? Where from I came? What is my duty here? When shall I go back? And you said it could be explained, it could be understood just when you practice breath consciousness. Watch the flow of the breath. Watch your flow of the breath. Sri Guruji says, don't miss the feeling of the flow of the breath. Inhalation, exhalation. An idea came to me some days ago. How to fix Gurudev in that flow of the breath? In an airport, I saw escalators. We just stand on that and it's taking up. And again, another way, it's taking us down. Ascendancy, descendancy takes automatically. Oh, beautiful. Can we think of the flow of the breath as a beautiful spiritual conveyor belt? Oh, Gurudev, come on, sit here. Gurudev going in, Gurudev coming out. Constantly, Guru awareness, Guru consciousness, breath consciousness, they merge. That is the day we expect. Atma Narayana, Guru Narayana, Brahma Narayana become one and one. That is the ultimate oneness that each one of us is aiming at. Swadhyaya. What is this breath? Gurudev very beautifully used to say, breath is our life, breath is our beauty, breath is our all strength, breath is our vigor, breath is our everything. No breath, no life. No breath, no love. No breath, no meditation. Who is the breath? Who is pulling the breath? Study of the breath is also study that is called Swadhyaya, self-study. Now the question comes, is it enough? Is the study of the scripture that we explain is enough? One may study the entire Vedas, entire Upanishads, Gita, Bible, Quran, all the writings on these holy things, holy books. It may not be complete. Study of scriptures may not be complete. Study of the scripture with the loving assurance of the master can be possible. Gurudev said, study something, analyze something, and find out where are the confusion. Tell the confusion to the master. Only when the confusions are clarified, your study of the scripture is complete. Study of the scripture, not a small thing. It may be lifelong. Life after life it may be taken, or it may be within 1 year one can gain it. Jnanagni. With the blessings of the master, if we can know, we can attain the knowledge of the self. Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat. Once we get that knowledge, once we are catapulted to that status of understanding the self, that is a fire of the knowledge will be generated in our being, and that will destroy, eliminate, burn into ashes all these stored karmas in the chitta. Then one can be free. Some people say jnana, reading the books. Reading the books, that's enough. No. Reading the book is enough only when the reading the self is complemented to it. There must be complemented to it. Reading of the book, parayana, chanting should be complemented, supplemented by the study of the self through the practice of yoga, meditation, and prayer. Study of the scriptures. In this regard, I have to say something to you. Think of the life of beloved Gurudev. Such a great man, such a great yogi, such a great memory, such a great incarnation. But Guruji was telling us, you will find some important books below the pillow of beloved Gurudev. A person, a yogi, a realized master who could remember everything from every scripture and can quote with authenticity. Why he was in need of the books? Why he was in need of the books? The question is answered by Sri Guruji. Books are loving. Books are gods and goddesses. If we can lovingly accept the books, possess the books, read the books, and bow to the books, the idea the books will come into us. In this reference, one day, he was telling the story of Sri Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya was coming, and he saw in the highway, on the side of the particular road, an old man is chanting Gita. He observed, he chanting Gita in a brilliant way, verse after the verse, clearly, without any flaw. But he saw he's holding the book in a reverse design, upside down. He wondered, how could the man is reading, holding the book in this odd way? He went nearer him, stood there for a few seconds, and observed the man is not taking the help of the book. He's simply holding, and Mother Gita is helping him, and he's chanting verse after the verse after the verse, and tears are shedding down. After the chanting is over, the overwhelmed Lord Chaitanya asked the gentleman, how could you read so beautifully without holding the book in a proper way? What book? Gita book is my mother. This book is my mother. I do not know the letters. I can't read it. He has blessed me. I hold him. I'm holding my mother Gita, and he's helping me. She's helping me, and I'm reading. What a wonderful study of the scripture. What a wonderful study of the scripture. When Gurudev, Guruji blesses us, a time will come, we can study and we can complete the study of Gita, Bible and Quran, or any Upanishad in that beautiful way of that old gentleman who met Sri Chaitanya on that day on the roadside. Sri Chaitanya discovered a beautiful way. And the message is, study the scripture with love. To be scholar on the scripture is meaningless. To exhibit erudite scholarship, oration, this is also madness. Lovingly get into the horizons of the scripture. Lovingly seek the blessings of the scriptures. Lovingly seek their prasadaha. Then our understanding of the scripture will be beautiful and overwhelming. Books, libraries. If you think of the Congress Library, if you think of the British Museum, if you think of the Book of Palace of Moscow, how many books and ocean books? Can anybody complete the study of such books? Can anybody complete the study of all the holy books of the earth? Study of the self is enough. Study of the self is enough. That will give us a vast knowledge that is there in the pages of the various holy books, the scriptures. But there is a balance. Study of the scripture and study of the self. To make this beautiful twin studies, there are other things to be taken care of. Study of scriptures cannot be complete unless one gentleman, one person, take care of the history of the civilization, the history of the ancestors of the human race. History itself is the biography of the earth. History itself is the biography of the nations. History itself is the biography of the great masters, great incarnations. History is another scripture. We have to read it. History should be studied without giving an emphasis on dates, without giving an emphasis on this age or that age. Emphasis should be given to the content of the history. Remember, my friends, in case of Asia, lots of damage has been done to that of the history. Lots of damage. Some people have made an attempt to delimit the antiquity of the history of certain races. They have distorted the history in a very, say, dangerous way. This is the lockdown situation. Parents sit down together with the children, tell them the stories of the history. I'm giving an example. Ramayana and Mahabharata. Many people do not understand that these are history books. Many people do not respect them as recorded histories. I one day told to the students in a college what the historians are doing, going for some suspected areas, they dig the earth, they excavate it, and they find some coins, old coins, some old, say, stained, corrugated agricultural tools, some images, some other usable things of the past, and they sit together in a round table to write the history of that period. But when Indians and the Asians have wholesome history books, and they rejected the epics in a single sentence. You send Mahabharata, you send Ramayana to the gallows. Finished. History of a nation is gone, ruined. Reading the history is a necessity. Reading the history of every nation is a necessity. Impartial study of the history is helpful for the study of the scripture, because all scriptures are part of the history. Birth of Jesus, Bible, they're part of the history. Muhammad, Quran, they're part of the history. Similarly, should you not recognize Gita and Lord Krishna part of the history? Anyway, I don't enter in that controversy. Through this lockdown period, read history, reread history, discover the scriptures that is called Ramayana and Mahabharata. Don't consider Ramayana and Mahabharata belongs to present India. Don't consider them as Hindu books. Don't consider them as ordinary histories. They're histories of mankind. And no single Indian government can claim, no University of India can claim and a monopolistic copyright over the two. They belong to the mankind. Friends, scripture, study of the self, study of the history, study of the letters and numbers, study of the jnana, vijnana and pragyana. Jnana, ordinary letters, ordinary numbers. Vijnana, to study the hidden laws. The hidden laws for which the universe is working, what modern science is doing. I salute modern science. Had quantum physics not discovered, then physics and metaphysics could have not come in closer as it has become today. Then pragyan, study of the spirituality, there lies the study of the scriptures. But study of the scriptures will not become meaningful unless there is a study of the seva in this particular life. To study the philosophy of seva, then use this philosophy of seva in our daily life. That is the most important commandment of yoga. That is the most command. That is the most important instruction in our life. Has anybody, since Sri Guruji in that of Balighai, either moving on the riding a cycle, walking on the path, going to the shed, cow shed, and going to that of this particular dining area, going to the temple, going to Sri Guru Mandir. Imagine that beautiful scene, scenario. Feel how he was living. Time is more important. Those who worship time, those who use time as Sri Guruji does, they are beautiful and they can study the scriptures in a meaningful way. One day of daily life of Sri Guruji in a Balighai. Early morning by 4 o'clock he's up, he's ready. Having taken a shower of the Gomutra, cow urine, he's ready for beginning his daily life. The day's beginning. The day begins with yoga, prayer, and little bit of exercise. You may question, at this age, after having attained God realization, the man is now going for yoga, going for study, going for that of prayer. Yes, my friend. Yes. Anybody who ventures to get into his room will find his bedroom, his dormitory where we all live along with him. It's a beautiful library, museum of wonderful books, modern library of modern books, ancient library, ancient books. What is not there? If we look to the bed, what is this? Not pillows are there, but stuck piles of books everywhere. He loved to live with his companions, books, magazines, and other publications. He begins the day with reading. After the yoga, meditation, and prayer, he goes for scriptural parayanam, be it Ramacharita be it Srimad Bhagavatam, be it Gita, be it Uddhava Gita, be it any other thing. He begins with Parayanam, not because of his gain of knowledge, because of Loka Sangraha, to impress upon us, to impress on the people surrounding him, to impress upon the disciples and devotees living elsewhere. The time should be used in a proper way. Daily life of Sri Guruji. After the Parayanam is over, he just go down, takes his bicycle, moves here and there, and comes back again. Sits on his desk writing. Writing tables are available everywhere, in the computer room, on the veranda of this dormitory, inside the dormitory. Everywhere is pen, is fountain pen, ordinary pen is there, pages of plain papers are there, and he writes. One day I was asking him, Baba, are you a student? Are you preparing for examination? He smiled at me. My student life has not ended. And every day I'm appearing at the exam. It is the exam set by my beloved Gurudev. Can you believe? He passed into that of seclusion long years ago just to complete the writing that he was placed bound to beloved Gurudev. He was placed bound to beloved Gurudev. He'll write 4 pages a day. 4 pages a day. One day he calculated, oh my God, I have not fulfilled my place to my master. I'm in short of this number of pages. Finished. He left for seclusion. Remained there in silence. Completed. Made good of the loss. He completed. Then come back and smilingly said, that is the way one should compensate the loss. He said, my boys, my wonderful boys, sitting here, you have left your home, you have very good jobs, you are very good jobs. You have left everything, you have come here, but you do not know how to practice worshipping the time. Worship the time. Not a single second pass away without doing anything good for the life. Should not pass away, just pass away for not doing any service to others. Service. During his Brahmacharya days in Karar Valley of meditation and prayer, one day under the scorching sun, he is sitting there preparing the pathway. No umbrella was there. And Anandamai Sahib Baba shedding tears from the body. Tears from the body, I mean not the tears from the eye, shedding tears from the body, working on the pathway. On that day, revered Swami Chidananda arrived and he's saying, oh, what a beautiful person. He's completely engrossed. Don't disturb him. After the work is over, when they met, they bowed to each other. Swami Chidananda was so overwhelmed with this particular Shiva conscious Brahmachari. He said, you are the greatest. Swami Sibalanji loved our beloved Gurudev, said, you are the greatest, for you pass into Samadhi any moment within a twinkle of an eye and come back home. Similarly, Swami Chidanji said, you are the best person, you move into Seva and come back. Seva and Samadhi, as if they were the twin important chapters of our beloved Gurudev. Can't we call our hands, become Sri Hastam, I will serve. I will serve. Seva demands a sense of sacrifice, a sense of surrender, a sense of selflessness, and a sense of complete absorption in the work, where I shall not feel who is who. Everybody I'm giving the service, he is my God, he is my goddess. This is to learn from Gurudev. Our beloved Gurudev, our beloved Sri Guruji are two beautiful incarnation of Seva and Swadhyaya. At the ripe age, he's still holding the book. Self-realized person. Sitting in the wheelchair, he will move into the garden. I'm talking of homestead ashram. Directing, do this way, dig a hole here, put a mango tree here, have a plantain tree here, like this. The entire garden, its scenario, wherever you see that the touch, invisible touch, very invisible touch, but a sweet touch of beloved Gurudev. Ajeev, that garden is Hari Haranand, manifested into a botanical world, a botanical garden. That is Seva. Culminating with that status, where you demand that I will serve, I will serve, I will serve. Without serving, I will not take one morsel of food into my mouth. Can we do it? Can we do it at home? If we have not done so far, time has come. Lock down, lock down, lock down. Go within, go within, go within. Clean the floor. Clean the library. Clean everything. Clean the mind and clean the mind of the children, telling the right stories at the right moment. Embellishing their mind, their sensibilities with the finer sensibilities of the nation and the world. A nation cannot grow if the finer sensibilities of earlier years are not told to the children in a proper way. Mother is the first guru, father is the second guru. If these two gurus they fail, no other guru can help them. First guru and the second guru. It's your time, your question of reading and also making children understand what is scripture and what is a history. Ordinary things. Ordinary. I was told one day by an old monk in Haridwar, Gita. Look at Gita. Bath in the Narmada is over. Touch Gita. Bath, holy dip in Ganga is over. Someday read, chant Gita without understanding anything. Holy dip at a Prayag is over. One day understand a little. Holy dip in Ganga Sagar is over. Another day, seeing the Gita, touching the Gita, reading the Gita, understanding the Gita, apply an iota of it into the daily life. Manasarovar, holy deep is over. I could not complete my Manasarovar pilgrimage. But looking at this instruction of that holy man, I just console myself. Yes, if I can use some of the instructions of Gita into my daily life, then my Manasarovar pilgrimage will be over. Study of the scripture. World is a beautiful one. World is so beautiful. At every region, at every part in every religion, there are wonderful instructions, wonderful prescriptions to rectify our life, revise our life, and we shall move in the rediscovered path of the righteousness. The right moment to travel in the direction of righteousness, that is the need of the hour. Fighting a crisis, confronting a crisis of just, which will pass away someday, is not a bigger thing. To confront the great crisis of human life, that I have forgotten who am I, that I have forgotten for which I have come to this particular planetary home, to forget why I go and come back, why the compulse returns, why. There lies the real question of how to study the scripture, Swadhyaya. If we can do, we can offer some seva here and there at home to their neighbors, to the society, to the world, then this seva, this feeling, this particular dedication will create in us a beautiful devotion to the Master and a beautiful devotion to the scriptures. And masters and the scriptures help us to rebuild our life to move in the pathway to the heaven. Thank you all. God bless you all.